look like I'm going to start playing the guitar or something. I look like a musician. I am, however, a tarot reader, and I aim to make tarot as accessible as possible for anyone at any stage of their tarot journey. And I always say that we never finish learning. I think that experiences we go through in life kind of help us read better, because we can start experiencing each single card on a personal level, and with everything that happens to us in life, it makes us better storytellers. It makes us understand how life works more. So then when we read different people, we can resonate with their story in one way or another. We can understand it to a deeper level, and it just makes us develop a little bit better in empathy and connecting with others, I think. So we're never at a point that we want to be, or we're never at a point of truly like conquering, mastering the skill, because I think that's just gonna happen with age. Personally, I mean, that's my own viewpoint of it. I've seen older tarot readers, and I think they're always just, I feel like I leave that reading with a lot more like wise knowledge behind me, and they just make me feel more grounded. It's just more comforting, I think, to hear the words from someone who's been reading tarot for years and years and years, because they've always got really interesting things to say. But regardless, you can learn at any age. You can be an amazing reader at like 13 years old. Being a good reader just comes with being able to connect to your intuition. Some people are naturally really good at that. Some people, maybe it takes a little bit of fine tuning over the years. But today we're going to be doing some basic beginner tarot spreads that I feel are really effective, but really simple, and anybody can do them. If you happen to be sitting near a tarot deck now, if you know where your tarot deck is, go and grab it, come back, and we can do these spreads together. I promise you, they're easy. Even a monkey could perform them. No disrespect to monkeys or anything, they're actually very clever individuals. I'm sorry about my voice, by the way. I've been ill for quite a while, which is why this channel has been a little bit dead recently. But, oh, there's a crystal in here. So I'm gonna get my deck out. Mine is just the old traditional Rider-Waite Smith, just because probably a big amount of you guys will be using the same deck, so it's easier if we're all coming from the same level. So what you're going to do is, firstly, whatever ritual, whatever practice is most comfortable and normal for you, you can just sit and meditate for a little bit. You can sip some crystals, put a crystal on your forehead, you can burn some sage, just sit in a nice room, play some music, make some tea. Just do what you got to do to set the scene and make yourself as grounded and as comfortable as possible. Some people like to read when they're a bit zoned out. Some people like to read when they're fully focused. Maybe you have a smoke, I don't know. I'd love, actually, I'm interested in knowing that, what people's kind of procedures, routines, like what's your ritual? Let me know down there in the comment section below. All of these I would recommend to do daily if you can. Get yourself a little book that you can write each day what you happen to pull, and then you can make little predictions for yourself in the morning. Be like, today's gonna be amazing, and I'm gonna feel abundant, and I'm gonna receive some good news. And then in the evening you can look back and be like, was that a good prediction, or can I look back at the card I received and try and work out what it actually meant? Or sometimes you can do really good predictions and you're like, damn, I'm good. It definitely really helps with your confidence, building that confidence back up, and it's just fun. It's like a really good therapeutic way to just stop and just take in the moment and enjoy the peace before the crazy day kicks in. The first one being kind of a combination of my two favorite card positions to read, and that is a general card to represent the energy of the day. I always say energy because it just fits the feeling that I'm trying to pick up on the most. Like when I'm reading cards, I don't feel like I'm necessarily picking up specific things that are going to happen, but just like the general energy of the day and how that might look, or, you know, energy that I can utilize that day, or something that I can expect to feel in the air, etc. And then the second card that you're going to pull for this spread will be advice given that energy. So it's like advice, suggestion, guidance on the kind of day that you're going to be having. So what you can sort of do, how you can be, what vibes you should like enhance, or maybe even physical people around you in that day that you can actually benefit from. Just realized my finger is very pink. Can you tell why? I dyed my hair today. So now you know what the spread is. This is the fun bit. I like to knock the deck before I'm reading something new. So I'll kind of shuffle for a little bit and then I can speak it out loud or I can just think it in my head. I will ask, what is the general energy that I can expect in my day today? And it's up to you how you want to pull the card. I tend to shuffle until a card comes out. If it takes forever and it just doesn't seem to want to come out, sometimes I'll do this. I'll stop when I want and I'll pull a card. Other times I might put the deck down on the table, get my left hand, I cut once, and then with this deck I cut again, and then with that middle deck I've got there, I can just take the top card. Everyone picks their card differently. Mine chops and changes depending on how I feel on that day. So I actually managed to pull 2 cards. If you happen to get a couple of cards jump out of the deck and you're not experienced enough or brave enough to have to read 2 cards at once, then that's fine, just put them back in the deck and then you can like physically pull your own card like I just did. But seeing as we're doing a video on beginners, I'm just going to stick to one of the cards that I pulled, and that happens to be quite a dark one. Let's look at the one that I pulled, the 9 of Swords. So in the same way, you can sit and look at the card that you've got, and honestly it's quite easy to pick up a general energy of a card. Just sort of imagine yourself as the person in the card. You're pulling a card to represent your day, so there's usually a character in the card which you can then place yourself into, think about how they might be feeling, think about why, think about what the card might sound like or what that person might feel like emotionally. And obviously I can tell here that there might be a lot of anxieties and worries today, so much so that they are kind of paralyzing me in a way, like she's not able to do anything productive because she's got a lot of worry. I mean, this could just be me not feeling very well at the moment. But also there's like mental stress, because swords, remember, think about the element that you've got. My element is swords, and swords is about the mind, and also communication and words. So clearly she's not communicating with anyone her worries, so that's something that you can look at and be like, well, maybe I should not keep this as bottled up as this lady is doing here. And the swords is also the mind, so there's a lot of these swords. The more swords, I always feel like the heavier someone's brain is, the heavier their mind and their mental health is on them. So you look at that first card and then you shuffle for the next, and I want to know, what advice do I need to know? And just so you get an idea of other ways of cutting, cut once, then with this deck cut twice, and then you have your advice card. Jeez, mine are very dark today. It's trying to like out me in front of everybody. So although this might seem like it's a dark card and it doesn't seem like something that's giving us advice, you need to really think about how your image holds an action or an energy that you could be participating with today. Like for example, the 3 of Swords is heavy emotion, obviously. It's lots of feeling, it's the heart, it's connected to our feelings. Even though this isn't the element of cups, which is feelings and love, there's swords going into a love heart, and we all know the symbol of love with like daggers through it obviously means that there's some hurt there's some betrayal. But actually it sort of changes the way I can view this card a little bit, because even though I want to say to this person, get out of bed, like get over it, you'll be fine, when I have advice put next to it, actually this tells me that feeling the feels right now is really important. All these emotions should be embraced, because I'm not being asked to, you know, do something bright and light and exciting. This is asking me just to sit with the emotions and express them, let them out, you know, cry, just cry and cry until I can't cry anymore. Let out those feelings in maybe an artistic way, like utilize them in some way, make art out of it. It's basically saying like be a big old emo for the day, because it might help you in another way. It's part of like a healing process. Sometimes we need to let out all of that black ink that's sitting there in our heart so that we can make room for brighter stuff later on in the week. The next spread I'm going to be doing is the next 2 spreads in general are probably my 2 favorite. So this is what I call do this to do that. No, I don't really have any names for these spreads, but I generally just call this like do this to achieve that. It's sort of like an advice spread. It's good for someone who wants some guidance in what they want to achieve. Sometimes it's even good for people who want guidance in something that they don't even know what they want to achieve. Like, they're just lost in general. They're like, I don't know what I want because I don't know what I want. I don't know how to get there. I don't know what I should be doing now because I don't know where I want the end result to be. It shows you a nice little timeline of, you know, an action that's taking place here, which will eventually lead you to here. So if you think about yourself in the present, you're doing what you're doing now, and then the card that you pull will be what you should do next in order to get that. The reason why this helps so much is because you can look at the second card in the spread and be like, okay, so I do this to achieve that. What is that? Like, is this something I want to do? Like, can I resonate with that? And it helps you focus on what your next goal and ambition is, because sometimes it can wake up part of you that you kind of thought you didn't want to do, or something you forgot you wanted to do, or something that you felt that you couldn't do. So it's good for so many different reasons. So we can shuffle the deck and we can ask, whoa, I'm going to take that card because it flew out really creepily. What is it I need to do? Or I can say, do this. Just keep in mind the spread that you've got. Do this, the Hierophant. Ooh, this is very serious. So I need maybe discipline, a lot of faith. So sticking to my, you know, status quo, the stuff that I believe in and have always believed in, and listen up to Mr. Cleverclogs here, who's got a lot to teach me. So listen to maybe a good educator, a good role model in my area of faith. And then I'm going to shuffle to achieve this. And hopefully you're all shuffling at home as well. And in fact, I'm just going to show you my other way of cutting. I kind of put the deck on a slant like that. And then I pull when I feel ready to achieve this. So I've got the Ten of Cups here, which is a very bright and beautiful card. It's about family, it's about reuniting, it's about house, home, happy family life. It's cups, so it's emotion, it's love. So there's 10 of them. There's a lot of it. Obviously, this is fulfillment, and this is just like, I always imagine this as the last page of a fairy tale. It just feels very supportive and beautiful and happy. So do this to achieve this. Well, the Hierophant is a very traditional based card. It's about sticking to your upbringing, what you've always believed in, and what you've been taught is right. So it's almost like saying to stick to what I've always felt drawn towards and believed in and grew up believing, to kind of continue that faith into my future generations. And although I'm speaking on quite a wide scale here, not necessarily something that happens like in a day-to-day basis, and if I'm pulling a card for the day, you want to kind of know what that means for the day in general. So perhaps you could say I'm losing a little bit of an idea of who I am. It's like an identity thing. It's like what I'm supposed to be doing, what I'm supposed to be, what I believe in, and what's right for me. So what you could say that these two cards have in common, and it's really important to do that when you read tarot, to look at the two cards. What do they have in common? Why do they speak to each other? Because it adds a more specific message if two cards have very distinct similarities in them. That's likely the exact thing that you're supposed to be picking up on. That's the reason why they've both popped out the deck. You can look at these two cards and say that there's a strong sense of network, common beliefs and common ways of living, and that all of these people are celebrating their values, their beliefs. Both of these cards really speak about values. So it could be saying to really make sure I reconnect with people who come from the same wavelength as me and talk about our ideas and beliefs together and bond with them, with that little unit of people, in order to achieve people that I get on with and feel the most lightest and brightest around. It's not asking me to try anything unorthodox. See those cards you've got in front of you as a timeline, and see yourself doing the first card and picturing that first card turning into the second card, which is ultimately your outcome card. So obviously I can look at my outcome card and be like, why don't I have it now? You know, what's the journey and the process to achieve that? What does that involve? And then I can look at the advice and what it is I'm supposed to be doing to get that. The third and final spread that I'm going to be sharing with you today is another favorite. This is really good for someone like me because I'm a Libra rising. I am a very, very indecisive little bugger. I don't like making decisions. I like to weigh up my pros and cons, but then once I've made the decision, I'm really set and stuck with it. Maybe that's to do with my Cancer sun and moon, but this spread is good for someone like me because it helps me get a general sense on the better option, and also to stand back from the situation and look at everything going on from an outsider's point of view. I think that's why I like tarot in general. So I tend to call this spread the decision maker. It's really good for anyone who's got like two different choices to make, an A and a B. You can even do this if you've got like 4 different choices to make, like A, B, C, D. But honestly, you could even do this if you've got like 10 different options, or like you've got 10 different things to choose from. I don't know what sort of situation I could give as an example for that, but let's say you've got 2 choices. Let's just say I have option A and option B, and I often call this spread this or that, the this or that spread. So I will call option A this and option B that. So what was the outcome for A? Ooh, 3 of Cups. And we will shuffle for what is the outcome for option B. Lovers. Okay. I will even argue that this is probably one of the easiest tarot spreads to do for a beginner. It's easy, particularly easy, if you happen to get something like the 3 of Cups with something like the 10 of Swords, for instance. There's very certain circumstances where the 10 of Swords might be a good thing, depending on if you're hoping that that option gets you out of a load of shit that you've recently gone through. If you're in a really heavy, dark position in life and you get the 10 of Swords as like what's coming soon, that's actually not a bad thing because it means the sun's coming up again. But what I'm basically saying is, if you're going to compare like 2 cards like this, it's likely that this option's a bit better, because what you want to do is focus on the colours. What's brighter, what's lighter, what looks happier, where are people happier, what situation are they in that makes the option look nicer. Like, oh, I'm clearly going to enjoy this job more than I am this one, because what the heck, I'm going to get fired, or the people are going to be shit and they're not going to be very nice, and communication's going to be bad, my mental health's going to be bad, blah blah blah. And you look at this and it's like, my co-workers are going to love me, we're going to get on, we're going to have loads in common, we're going to have drinks after work, and it's going to be fun. So it's easier to compare when things are like that. But when they're quite both are quite positive, it's fine just to say both options are good. I quite like telling clients that. I like saying to people, don't worry, because you're going to be happy regardless. But there's usually more of a long-lasting element with one of the cards than the other. For example, the 3 of Cups is all well and good, but it is only a 3 of Cups. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, for example, if you're reading about career and work and you get the 3 of Cups with the 8 of Coins. Obviously, the 3 of Cups does look like a better time, but at the end of the day, you are reading about work and career, and there is more coins involved with this, and he does seem to be working harder, so you can probably bet your bottom dollar that the outcome of this option, this workplace, you'll probably fine-tune your skills, you'll probably end up as a better employer and being like promoted and like recognized for your hard works and hard efforts, but you'll probably have a more funner time here. So like, both options are good, but you want to kind of think about like what the long term is. So for instance, in this respect, it looks like this option's more fun for me, but this option seems more long lasting because it's a bigger choice. It's a more serious choice. It's something that benefits you truly in your inner, like, deeper core. Like, this is something that empowers your deepest needs and like your future, because the Lovers card is all about making a very important choice that's right for our soul, that keeps our soul happy. And you know, it's about digging deep within ourselves to do the thing that's right for us and not the thing that maybe we're tempted by. This is the whole Adam and Eve situation, remember? So this spread's really, really good because it reminds me a little bit as well of the traditional heads or tails, flip a coin thing. Flipping a coin is a really good method, can I just say, outside of tarot, for someone who's bad at making decisions, because if you get the heads, that tells you you're going to go for option A, it wakes up that part of your intuition that says like, oh, I actually wanted tails, even though you told yourself 5 minutes ago that you didn't know what you wanted, so you're going to flip a coin. But then as soon as that coin's flipped, you're like, actually, I didn't want that option, I kind of wanted the other. It like wakes up that part of your brain that's like, I hope that this happens. This spread is kind of similar in that respect, because you can see like the position that you're kind of gravitating towards, hoping to work out better. How do you feel when you look at those cards? Are you disappointed about what the card happened to be in the option that you actually secretly wanted? Because that itself can help us work out what it is that we actually want to do, right? And then we can also truly ask ourselves, what does this card tell me about the outcome? So even though I really wanted that job, and then I get like the devil as the outcome for that option, why would that come up? And then it makes me think about the contract maybe that I know is involved with applying for that job, or like the situation the job involves, like maybe it's very restrictive, you know, maybe the boss is like scary as hell, or like it's a very high demanding job, or like it involves something that I know I'm very likely to get very obsessive with. I'm a workaholic, and maybe doing a job I love would make me, you know, work myself into the grave. It asks you to sit down with your options and be very truthful with what they both mean, and I think that's a very powerful spread because of that. So that's all for those. I hope you enjoyed listening to me go through them all, and I would love it if you guys could let me know in the comments what results you got from taking part in this activity with me today. If there's anything really cool that happened when you were reading, if you struggled with knowing what your card meant in certain positions that we've spoken about today, let me know in the comment section below. You can write it down there and I can maybe help you interpretate it. I can also do your full card reading. If you want a tarot reading from me, all you have to do is DM me on my Instagram or my Facebook, even Twitter if you want. I'm accessible everywhere, or email me, linkmanagement@gmail.com, and I'll get back to you very soon. I'm on social media such as Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already to be notified every time I make a video like this one. Like this video if you enjoyed this style of video, and I'll make more. Thanks for watching guys, and happy reading. Bye.